This is tutorial 2-6, creating dot density maps in the GIS Tutorial 1 basic workbook. For this tutorial, we're going to start off by going up to the Open button to browse our maps. You're going to want to make sure that you look under GIS T1 in Maps and then choose tutorial 2-6. Then click Open. You're going to want to hit the Save As button or go to File Save As and then browse to your My Exercise folder. Go into Chapter 2 and save it as 2-6. That way any changes do not affect the original document. We're going to use a bookmark to bring us to Pennsylvania, so we're going to go up to Bookmarks and right down here at the very bottom. In the table of contents, we're going to open up the properties for U.S. population 2010. Now, you may be looking at the title and be wondering where this file came from. If we go to Sources, we can see that this is just the U.S. counties feature class that they have just gone ahead and renamed. So let's go to the Symbology tab, and then under Quantities, you're going to want to click on the dot density. In a dot density map, you can have multiple attributes showing density, but for this we're only going to use one. In field selection, you're going to want to find POP 2010, which is right here. You may have to scroll down to see it. Once you have it selected, you're going to click on this button right here, and this will add it to our selection, which will be used to display density. If you don't want it, or click something that was wrong, say I double-clicked renter, that would add it to here as well. But I don't want this, so I would go here and I would click this button and it would get rid of it. If you want to clear everything, you just hit the double arrow. The default settings are normally these very bright colors. I find them difficult to see, so I'm going to double-click the symbol to open up the symbol selection, and I'm going to change it to Mars Red. Click OK. Now down here you can actually see how it will look. With a min, you will see just one dot, and the mean, and then the max. Now each dot is actually 1,000. In this case, people. For the background, we're going to want to change it. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the line button and make this gray 20%. Click OK. And 1,000 is a little low, so let's change this to 5,000. And down here, we can change the dot size. You can also use these little sliders. If I bring it up, this is what they would look like at a size 6. Bring them back down to a 2. You can also use this bottom slider to increase the size of the values. Going down here makes it larger. Down here makes them smaller. And then in here, you can just put in whatever value that you want. So we're going to click OK. Now you get all these dots, and what this is showing us is what counties have more people. The more dots within a county, the more people. The fewer the dots, the fewer the people. Now these can be a little confusing. I'm going to use my fixed zoom in just so we can look at Pennsylvania. I'm going to turn this off for a second. And then turn it back on. Now this can confuse some people, because when you see points on a map, you think a location, but these are just randomly placed within the polygon. If I click refresh, look at this polygon right here, this county. If I refresh it, the points have been reassigned. They're at different locations. And every time I do that, they're in a different location. So if you are to create a dot density map, it's very important to put that these are not actual locations, because someone looking at this might think that these might be, cities or towns or something like that. They want us to go in and save our map. And then they want us to open up US population 2010 again. And they want us to change this value. Oop, this dot value should have been 5,000. Click OK. Not sure why that happened. So I'm going to save my map again. We can go in here and we're going to type in 10,000. And then I'm just going to click apply. And you can see that this county has a lot fewer dots. So I'm just going to go back to 5,000. Hit apply. There's a lot more. Now let's look at 100,000. As you can see, there are very few points, including some counties that don't have any. So it's very important to pick the right number. One thing I don't like about this tutorial is that we're looking at Pennsylvania, but we still have all this other data out here. So if you were to truly do this, you would want to limit your data just to Pennsylvania. For some reason, as I scroll in and out, you can look over here, the dots are changing. So I don't know why that's doing that. So I'm going to go in. Maybe it's this. Okay. So with this maintain densities by checked, densities are calculated based on a scale. So if I uncheck this, and then click OK, it will stay the same value no matter what scale I'm at. This might be an issue with 10.6.1, where the book that I'm using is only for 10.1. So that's probably why they don't address this. In a newer version, they probably address this issue. And that concludes this video.